Well, Elon Musk and I are having a little disagreement today. We'll have to agree to disagree. Hello my friends and welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Welcome to the new subscribers and welcome back everyone else. Now, for those of you who are relatively new to the channel and you're sending me messages, asking me questions, I do get a slight bit frustrated when those questions are about videos that I've already made. So for those of you who want to invest in BYD, I've got numerous videos on the channel, probably about 5, I think, showing you how to invest in BYD. So you just need to download the Stake app and you can invest in BYD, over-the-counter stock. Now, for those of you in the UK, Australia, New Zealand, a few other countries, that's what you use. In America, there's heaps of other platforms. You don't need to use Stake. You can use whatever you want. However, a big thing I'm seeing lately is people constantly creating an account on Stake for the Australian Stock Exchange. You cannot trade BYD using the Australian Stock Exchange app on Stake. You have to use the US version, of course. So make sure you create the right account when you create your account on Stake. Now, I'm getting a lot of people using the promotion code that I have in the description below for a Stake account to create an Australian account. If you create an Australian account, you won't get a free stock. You get basically nothing if you create an Australian account on the app. If you create a US brokerage account where you can buy Tesla, you can buy Apple, you can buy Google, you can buy BYD, you can buy XPeng, you can buy NIO, whatever. If you create a US account, then you will be able to get a free stock. So that code is in the description below. Moving on. Elon claims that the electric car company that impresses him the most is Volkswagen. Now, I personally think he's just kind of going to bat. Going to bat for who, you say? Well, going to bat for Herbert Diess, who's basically been fired as Volkswagen's CEO. You might be saying, what? I haven't heard this. He hasn't been fired. Well, technically, you'd be right. But he has been banished. He's been basically banished to other portfolios. Rolf Brandstatter, the guy who's in charge of Volkswagen Group brands, he's the unofficial CEO of Volkswagen. Technically. That's actually technically true. But anyway, moving on. Elon and Herbert Diess are pretty good friends. They've spent a lot of time together. Elon has visited Volkswagen's factories. Herbert Diess has visited Tesla's factories. They've said positive things about each other. More positive things have been said by Herbert Diess about Elon than vice versa, but still, they're good friends. And I think that's coming into play here in terms of the way that Elon is valuing Volkswagen as an electric vehicle company. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. So when Elon was asked who he believes is making the most progress on electric vehicles besides Tesla, he said during his interview with the Financial Times that he believed he thought it was Volkswagen. Now, I don't know if Elon's been asleep at the wheel in terms of giving a true appraisal of the competition, but to be fair, I mean, over the first quarter of this year, Volkswagen sales went down compared to the last 3 quarters, down to 100,000 deliveries, 99,000 actually. BYD's went up to about 140,000 deliveries. That's just for EVs. So yeah, Hyundai and Kia, they're catching up to Volkswagen as well. They've nearly caught up actually. So I'm not convinced about this. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, to be fair, Elon didn't actually give a direct answer, but he said which startup impressed him the most. He didn't nominate actual startups like Rivian, NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, Lucid, etc. But he said Volkswagen. I think the company making the most progress besides Tesla is actually Volkswagen, which is not a startup, but could be viewed in some ways as a startup from an electric vehicle standpoint. That's funny. So Volkswagen is doing the most on the electric vehicle front. Now, maybe he has some insider information that Herbert Diess has shared with him that he hasn't shared with all of us. Otherwise, I don't understand this statement. Of course, every legacy automaker that also builds electric vehicles can be viewed as a startup from an EV standpoint. But the fact that Musk, pointed out Volkswagen and not another company is interesting. Very interesting. And I really think it's just primarily due to his friendship with Herbert Diess, his good buddy. As I mentioned before, these two CEOs, who are two of the most powerful men on the face of the planet, have acknowledged each other's accomplishments in electric vehicles and exchanged test drives of Tesla vehicles and Volkswagen EVs, with Diess inviting Musk to address 200 Volkswagen executives via a video call in October of 2021 where, well, the plan here was for Elon to try to convince Volkswagen's board and executives that they should go all in on EVs. And he gave it a good shot. It helped, but it didn't completely work. Now, like I said before, I think Musk's comment is really him just returning the favor in terms of the compliments that Diess has paid Musk over the last year. Now, the interesting thing is, Elon did actually mention the Chinese competition as well. He said, there will be some very strong companies coming out of China. There's a lot of super talented, hardworking people in China that strongly believe in manufacturing. They won't just be burning the midnight oil. They'll be burning the 3 a.m. oil. They won't even leave the factory type of thing. Whereas in America, people are trying to avoid going to work at all. Now, Elon has spent a lot of time in China. I think he's aware of what I'm aware of, which I think a lot of you guys aren't. Some of you are, some of you aren't. Actually, China is very much a capitalist country. Now, I know that sounds like I'm batshit crazy, but I'm not. It's true. People in China are very entrepreneurial. They work hard. They don't believe, as the West does, that the Chinese government controls everything they do, or that the Chinese government controls all their companies, like the West believes, because it's not actually true. The Chinese government doesn't control BYD. They don't control XPeng. Yeah, in some ways they affect them for sure, but they don't control them. The Chinese government really just steps in when companies get to the size of Alibaba, that level, or when it's a state-owned company like SAIC. Then yeah, the Chinese government has some say. But actually the truth is that in China, people work extremely hard. When I worked in Taiwan and in China, I was always the first person to leave the office, and I wouldn't leave till 7. Every day I was like, damn, I've got to wait around here until 7 o'clock. I get here at 8 a.m. I've got to wait till 7, and I'm still the first person leaving the office. And this went on for the year that I worked there. They work very, very, very hard. And you know what? This is not just where I was working. This is a cultural thing all across China, Taiwan. They are extremely dedicated. You know what? Elon has seen this. He's experienced it. They burn the midnight oil. They won't just be burning the midnight oil. They'll be burning 3 a.m. oil. Now, I'm not sure if this is entirely a good thing. I think they don't get enough sleep, and I think this affects their efficiency and decision-making sometimes. But overall, the truth is that, to be honest, people in these countries are incredibly capable of working under extreme stress, extreme pressure, and very little sleep. And I don't know how they do it. It's quite amazing. Again, Musk did not nominate any particular Chinese EV startup, but the fact that Tesla operates a manufacturing plant in Shanghai has obviously allowed him to get a unique perspective on exactly the work ethic that goes on there. And I think he's pretty critical of the work ethic in America in comparison to China. He just said it. He said people in China are not complaining about not working, whereas Americans are trying to not have to go to the office. That's true here in Australia as well. Us Aussies, we're doing the same thing. And I get that. No one wants to spend time traveling to work. Feels like a waste of time. So the interesting thing is this report was published on Inside EVs and a few other places. And in the comment section below, I read a common thing, right? Commonly people said, oh, well, fair enough, because Volkswagen's second in the world with electric vehicle deliveries and market share. Yeah. No, they're not. Far from it. I don't think they'll ever gain second place ever again. That's over, my friends. Well, for those of you who have friends that don't watch this channel, let them know. Volkswagen no longer is in second place. Now, of course, Volkswagen does plan on unseating Tesla. They say that by 2025, they'll be able to outsell Tesla globally in terms of electric vehicle sales all over the world. To me, that's it's a nice goal. It's a nice idea. It's more realistic that Volkswagen could pull it off than what General Motors could, maybe. But it ain't happening. The other thing to consider is I personally think that Hyundai's electric cars are significantly better than Volkswagen's right now. I mean, if you're going to compare a Kia EV6 and a Hyundai Ioniq 5 to pretty much any electric car that Volkswagen make, you'd have to say they're better. They've won all the awards. They look better. They have better, longer range, better efficiency, and they're catching up to Volkswagen in terms of electric car sales. In fact, they're very, very close behind, even though they sell very few electric cars in China. Now, people are trying to use the argument. This is an interesting argument. Tell me what you think on this, right? They're trying to claim that Volkswagen is still second because if you include their plug-in hybrid vehicles, then they're still second. But actually, the truth, in fact, is that for the first quarter of this year, if you include their plug-in hybrid sales, they're not second. BYD is beating them in that area as well. However, do you think that when we assess a car company's vehicle deliveries, electric vehicle deliveries, that we should include in those numbers plug-in hybrids as well as electric vehicle deliveries? Now, I don't think we should. I personally think a plug-in hybrid is an entirely different product. It's inefficient. And I don't think we should be ranking that when we compare one company's electric vehicle deliveries versus another. But let me know in the comment section below what you think. And let me know which car company you think is doing the best outside of Tesla when it comes to deliveries and technology. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.